Hi guys, welcome back to Army is Able. Today we have a shocking video about some home renter scammers. Let's get into it.
There's another landlord, the landlord before me, and the landlord before that, and the landlord before that landlord.
Just totally destroyed the house.
What is that? This was supposed to be our family home.
There are tenants that are educated about the procedures and the delays, and they definitely use them for their advantage.
4 times makes me very suspicious that there is something more going on.
Clearly she was a professional. She smiled at me, this big Cheshire grin, and she said, "We're not going anywhere."
I'm Robin Miller in Orleans, a suburb here in Ottawa, where over a period of 4 years, 4 different landlords say they've all fallen victim to the same professional tenants. The term is used to describe a person who knows how Ontario's landlord-tenant board system works. They know it so well they can use it to avoid paying rent. And that's exactly what the landlord says happened here. She's still in the process of fixing up this house, but we joined her minutes after she first got the property back.
So this is the house.
This is Adrienne Salter. She and her sister bought this house in Orleans back in 2018. The home held many happy memories, moments now faded.
I did my traditional wedding right here in this living room, but now looking at it, it's not the happy memories we once shared here.
Like some of that damage, how on earth do you guys do that much damage within like a year or 2 years? That makes no sense. Even if you have small children, I'm sorry, that looks like a dog has been gnawing on those baseboards. That patch in the wall, like how do you do that much damage? I just don't understand how filthy some people can live. I mean, the filth, that's one thing, but just scraping up the walls, gnawing on the baseboards, breaking everything. I mean, I get it. You know, a lot of the times people don't care about your stuff the way you care about your things. But my God, like, what is going on?
Because we worked hard for this property, and this was supposed to be our family home. My dad is here. He's retired. This is where he was supposed to stay. My sister's coming here with her family. This is where they're supposed to stay.
Salter takes in the dirt, the damage, and the lingering smell the last tenants left behind.
What is that? What is that? I'm disturbed. I'm grossed out. And that was... I can't believe this is the place I used to live. This was my family home. And now it just smells like a zoo. Like even a zoo smells better.
She says she's exasperated, worn down after a long battle with her tenants. The couple moved in August 2023. Salter got the property back on September 10th, 2024. Salter says they owe her about $35,000 in unpaid rent.
Because it just feels like I was...
$35,000 in unpaid rent. And they were there for a year and some change. They didn't pay no rent as soon as they stepped foot in that place. As soon as they got the keys, they was like, "Oh, we can relax. We ain't paying no rent." It's not funny. That's really horrible. I mean, some people save up to own a house and to rent it out, just try to get ahead, and then somebody like who they're talking about comes in, knows the laws, won't pay any type of rent. They're literally crushing their landlords. Like, they think people just have all this money. Like, no, these are everyday people that spent probably their life savings to get a property, or maybe they inherited the house from family members, you know, whatever. But they have to live somewhere too. You know, that money, that income that's supposed to come from that rental property, that's probably helping them pay their rent, where they're staying, or the mortgage on where they're staying, that, you know, they need to save just for damages. Like, okay, the writing on the wall that comes from children, even though you shouldn't let your kids run amok, okay, that's one thing. The carpet, especially if you got animals, like, every landlord knows they're going to have to change the carpet, put up some light paint. That's light duty work, okay? But patching up holes in the wall, I'm pretty sure there's more damages that we can't even see just within that short amount of time. Like, they literally left the house a mess. I mean, I've seen worse, don't get me wrong, but this is absolutely terrible.
A battle that was against me from the get-go.
Now, you may think you've heard this story before. Since the pandemic, the Landlord-Tenant Board is backed up, and we've done lots of stories about it. In 2023, for example, it took about 10 months to get a hearing for a non-payment of rent application. Things have improved a bit since then. Those hearings are now being heard usually within about 3 months. But what makes this story different is what Salter found out about her tenants shortly after they moved in.
It's intentional. I'm not the only one she's done it to. There's another landlord, the landlord before me, and the landlord before that, and the landlord before that landlord. So she's done it to 4 of us that we know of.
This was when we first met Salter this past spring. At that point, she was desperate to get her house back from the tenants, Megan and Justin. CBC is not using the couple's last names to prevent identifying their children who have had to move from home to home with them. Hi, Megan. It's Robin Miller calling from CBC. We've been in contact with Megan, but she said they didn't want to go on camera for an interview and didn't answer written requests for comment. She did, however, deny any allegations that they are professional tenants. Okay, I understand. Thank you.
My credit.
Okay, tenants need to unite, okay? And if somebody create this app or this little system, y'all need to cut me a check. But there literally needs to be a warning app or something like these tenants, this the name, if they can post pictures on this app just for tenants, like if they have a property, a confirmed property, any type of anything with the state, like they need to come together, band together and say, hey, Megan and Justin, do not rent to them. Don't get me wrong, I know they got to live somewhere, but I mean, at the end of the day, small landlords need to be aware, because I don't understand why it's so hard to get someone else out of a house when these apartments do it all the time. By the time you late on your rent, baby, you getting a notice that they're going to go to the court, and it's a quick process. So I'm not understanding why they're not doing this like for the landlords with these homes. I mean, I get it. These people are professionals, but something has got to give. Like, they are crushing small business owners to the point where they can't even pay their own bills. They're probably running up all their credit cards. They're probably on the verge of being homeless themselves because they're not getting paid from these professional rent scammers. Something's got to change. Like, This make you want to let me be careful on YouTube because I was about to talk cash.
Gone down. Relying on credit to just pay, just so the bank will not take the house.
Salter claims her tenants knew what they were doing all along. So we looked into it and found that their previous landlords all had very similar experiences, dating back to July 2020, when they moved in here. Misgina Kadane was renting out his house to make some extra money. He was living at his friend's house, waiting for his family to arrive in Canada from Sudan. Even though it was years ago, Kadane remembers the tenants like it was yesterday.
Megan and Yasin was living here for 1 year, 1 month, 15 days.
Keep in mind, this was during the height of the pandemic. The first temporary moratorium on residential evictions in Ontario was just lifted in August, and the backlog at the LTB was massive. Kadane went to the tribunal but says he didn't have a hearing because he decided to pay the tenants to leave, a cash for keys exchange.
Someone live in your house, not pay, and they when she asked 5,000-6,000, that's so bad. I was sad because this is not fair. She was totally.
Let me get this straight. You pay these people to get up out of your house because they not paying you rent. And then she has a nerve to say she need 5,000-6,000 to give you your keys back. Oh my God. He said, I was sad. Baby, you need to get angry. I'm not going to say that. But oh my God. That's a nightmare.
It's a house, so it's broken, and everything was not good.
He ended up paying them $3,200 to leave his property, which at the time wasn't that uncommon in light of all the delays. But we found out that pattern of unpaid rent continued. This is Taylor and Janny Bastian. Megan and Justin moved into their home in the middle of August 2021. It was just a 7-minute drive from Kadane's house. The Bastians were working in British Columbia for the year and decided to rent out their family home.
It's like a wave of betrayal. Like, I trusted this woman to come into my home. I trusted her with some of the furniture I left. We seemed to bond a bit, even if she's a total stranger. She actually moved in the day, it was her birthday, her 30th birthday. So I had a birthday card for her. The experience of having her in my home has been the most horrible experience of my life.
The Bastians first noticed something was off when rent didn't come in. Taylor ended up coming back to town to repair something in the home and says he tried to end the tenancy then.
At this point, they were behind by $5,200 in rent at that point. That was 2 months. And I said, listen, we're willing to just let you walk away, right? We'll end the lease. She looked at me in the eye, and it's almost like she was laughing. She smiled at me, this big Cheshire grin. And she said, we're not going anywhere. So we're not going anywhere because I have a family member who worked at the LTB, and they're just going to make you negotiate with us. So if I move somewhere else, they're going to charge me just as much. So we're staying put. But I'll never forget it because clearly she was a professional, and she was well armed. She knew the system. She knew the name of every form, the number of every form.
It took the Bastians 1 year and 15 days to evict. They say Megan and Justin did pay back 6 months of rental arrears with the help of a provincial program. In the end, though, LTB documents say they are still owed nearly $11,000 in rent.
It was so dirty in here.
So they got their money back from a program that will assist maybe landlords in recouping some of their money, but they didn't get it from the tenant. It says it right here. The tenant shall pay, but are they going to pay? No, because they busy running it up at other places. Honey, they not paying for nothing. Honestly, at this point, they need to be, fining is not going to do anything. Don't even fine them. They need to be threatened with jail time. Like, I'm sorry. Then at a certain point, the fourth or fifth tenant, honestly, at the third tenant, sweetheart, you do this again, you're going to be arrested for 10 days, 30 days, something. Something has to give because that is a shame. That is such a shame. A year and 15 days to evict an entire year. Do y'all know what can happen in an entire year? Today, a year from today, and throw 2 extra weeks on it. Absolutely not. No way.
3 months to get the smell out after painting and replacing all the carpets, etc. So that was a very much a personal attack on our home.
Yes, we win the last 6 months of rent, but there's no way to enforce it. So we haven't seen a penny.
To enforce orders from the LTB, you have to come to small claims court, and that's exactly what Megan and Justin's next landlord did. She had a similar experience where the tenants lived in her house, also in Orleans, for a year and stopped paying rent. A court order shows they owed more than $24,000 in arrears, and documents from small claims court say that Justin was ordered to have his wages garnished, but CBC wasn't able to confirm how much was repaid. Here's what we know. Over a period of 4 years, this couple has lived at 4 separate homes, all in and around the Ottawa suburb of Orleans. In total, their landlords say they racked up nearly $100,000 in unpaid rent. So how can this happen? 3 of the landlords we spoke to for this story say they were tricked, and there were flat-out lies in the rental applications.
When I spoke to this person, the name she gave me is Natalie. I'm sure that's a fake name. I should have mentioned the name, but I'm sure that's a fake name. Called the number, the landlord told me this is an awesome tenant. She has never been late on paying rent. She's amazing. That was all a lie. So I'm grateful that there's a website like Open Room now that landlords could go to.
Open Room is a website that aims to protect landlords and tenants by making LTB rulings easily searchable. The website's co-founder says when she hears about a repeat offender, she thinks professional tenant.
4 times, Robin. I can see one time. We have thousands of.
Well, dang, I guess they already got it. So there go my check. I guess ain't nobody gonna pay me for my little idea. But yeah, because apartment complexes, I feel like they have, I mean, I guess they paid the money, the big bucks for it too. But I mean, they hire third party like background checks. They hire third party companies to, you know, give you scores based on like what your credit score is, based on how much money you make, you know. And so these small tenants, unfortunately, they get screwed because, I mean, they're not paying the thousands of dollars for these third party companies to do all these background checks. So, I mean, I totally understand it, but that is terrible. And imagine how many people they have done this to that aren't on this video. These are 4 tenants that are saying that these people have done this to them. There are probably plenty more. And not only that, a lot of people aren't going to spend the money to go to small claims court. Like, I mean, it's not super expensive, but just to have lawyers, just to take off work, just to do all of that in small claims court, a lot of people will probably just say, okay, they out. Let me just cut my losses, wash my hands with it, move on. But that's what one couple did. The others, they're just talking about it. They didn't even take the people to small claims court. So if they are garnishing Justin's wages, I'm surprised. I'm about to say 10 bands that he owed the that third couple. They probably getting $100 a month from his behind. If that. They $150 a month. I would not be surprised if that's all they getting. They'll spend a lifetime trying to see that money. And then on top of that, as many men out here that's ducking and dodging child support by dropping jobs, getting underhand jobs, trust me, they ain't gonna see a penny of Justin money. I can guarantee you that. And you know what? They better, all this scamming, they better be saving. They better be saving up all this daggone scamming they doing. Shoot.
In the system that have done it for one time, and I understand the one time there have been issues. 4 times makes me very suspicious that there is something more going on, that they do know how the system is working, that they're able to get away with it, and that there are no repercussions.
This paralegal says since the pandemic, the term professional tenant does come up more often.
There's many good tenants. I want to preface it by saying that. But there are tenants that are educated about the procedures and the delays, and they definitely use them for their advantage. For example, a tenant could not show up at a hearing. The landlord's waited, maybe 6, 8, 12 months for the hearing, gets to the hearing, gets an order, a standard order for arrears of rent, and then the tenant can file a review saying that they were ill that day and they couldn't make it, or they never got the notice that day for the hearing. So then what happens is the order gets stayed and it gets set up for a new hearing, which could be another 2-3 months down the road.
Salter says that's exactly what happened to her. After waiting about 4 months for an LTB hearing, the tenants didn't show. An eviction was ordered 2 months later, but then stayed. The tenants argued they didn't know about the hearing.
But that is all false, because I have proof, text messages, where the tenant acknowledged that she knows about the hearing that's coming up in March. There's evidence that this tenant is a professional tenant. This stay should have never been granted.
When the next hearing came up, the LTB agreed with Salter. The stay was lifted, but that all took another 2 months.
She refused entry to change the filter. I don't feel motivated mentally. I don't feel motivated emotionally. Like, I've just lost faith in a lot of things, and in
Do not lose faith, baby. Just like your shirt says, victorious. Okay, don't lose faith, honey. Do not lose no type of faith. What you gonna do? You gonna put your boots on, put that jacket on, wear your victorious hoodie. You gonna get in there and scrub a dub. Change that carpet out, keep the windows up, air it out. Matter of fact, I got a good trick for you. That's the hood trick, okay? Get a little bit of Fabuloso and some water, put it on the stove, let that burn for about 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Don't inhale the fumes. You'll be all right. It'll be smelling brand new in there in no time, okay? Throw some paint up, baby. You good. Don't you worry about that. you worry about the next tenant. Make sure you do your due diligence, okay? But definitely, you gonna be all right, baby. You gonna be all right.
People in general.
Salter says her insurance won't cover the damages and she's on the hook for nearly $40,000. That doesn't include the unpaid rent, the unpaid water bill, or the legal fees. In all, she estimates it's going to cost nearly $100,000, and she has no plans to ever rent this house out again. Robin Miller, CBC News, Ottawa.
$100,000? How do you even let somebody move into your house without them putting water and lights into their name? I don't understand that. Sweetie, I'm gonna have to do some research on this. I'm so sorry for them. That make you want to really see about somebody. Like, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I enjoyed it. A little bit flabbergasted, but see y'all next time. Bye.